So maybe I should begin.
Yeah.
So the name stands for MMAP. Is sort of a short initial taken from the team, and what we have is the team members. We are four, but we're missing the fourth one, unfortunately. And if I can introduce ourselves, my name is Maria. I am currently located in Denmark as an application consultant at Don Energy, and I have my other teammates here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Poro Joshi. I am from India and I am a lead PI consultant.
My name is Andy Alseth. I live in Reno, Nevada. I work for the Clorox company, and I serve as a staff engineer there.
So we're missing another team who was a team member who was a great help, but he couldn't make it today. We also would like to say that it's the first time we meet. That's the first time we interact. And I think the dynamic in our team was amazing. We would also like to thank to everyone from the OSI support team. Thank you for the great help. It was a blast to work with you. Okay, so how can we continue and how can we present to you what we've done so far for the last 24 hours for this hackathon?
Yeah, so when we started with yesterday, the presentation of Barrick Gold, so it is the main thing is 30% is planned maintenance, 70% is unplanned maintenance. So we want to switch that ratio, right? Now to switch that ratio, we want planned maintenance more percentage. And how can we have more planned percentage maintenance? It's like we have minimum downtime and optimum fleet utilization. If maintenance is altogether less, then everything is going to costing less you more. So how then we can optimize the fleet operations? It is related to truck efficiency. Now truck efficiency divides into three parts. Driver behavior, first one. Second one is loading unloading time or route optimization. And the third part is parts of truck, optimized use of parts of trucks. That is the third part. So then we focus on this cycle, which I think so Maria will explain why we focus on this cycle.
So what we assume a cycle would be is when a truck starts being empty, start getting loaded, traveling loaded, and emptying and traveling empty. So that 5 points will complete the full cycle. So what you want to know about the cycle is how time consuming is to actually make a full turn cycle in order to bring the coal back from the mine. You know approximately what is the cost of that and how much you can earn per cycle. And in order to make some profit out of it, what would you like to do is you would like to optimize the traveling loaded time with the traveling empty time. So in case these times are very small, you can make more cycles, earn more money, therefore. Okay, so so what can you do in order to approach this, right? So you have a lot of information coming up from your in your PI system, and you want to take the optimal one to operate. So what we decided to do is to take the payload status data. We filter this data in order to scan out all the false alarms, and when the data is good enough to work with, we made some calculations. We scanned through the data, we estimated the time of each cycle, we measured the time that it takes for a driver to drive while truck is loaded, while the truck is empty, based on some conditions that the business and us, we believe that's the optimal conditions to do so. And then after you receive all this information and all this data, you can actually visualize it. And maybe we can talk about the software use that we use.
Yeah, so on the software part, we used PI System Explorer. So first to figure out what is the correct kind of data, and we need to filter out. Then we used CoreSite. Then we used AF SDK because we created event frames. We want to aggregate the event frames because that is the main part, aggregation, which is directly not available. So we used AF SDK on that part. And from AF SDK, we put the data once again into PyAF. So we can visualize into CoreSite. So whole cycle will be like starting from Pi, going out for aggregation of event frames, and then again comes to Pi. So this kind of cycle we have followed. And this is the kind of screenshot we have of our system. Okay, so here you can see there are two different kind of sections. The left hand side right hand side section is data from last 12 hours. So from last 12 hours the fleet data we have. On that, how many percentage has been used for idle time, how many percentage has been used for wastage. Wastage means it is not for loading and running, or load and or empty and running. So it is just in idle, not in idle state also. So it is like waste of time where Barrick Gold is not getting any money out of it. It is just fuel and all just going on. So there are 4 sections in it. One is waste, one is idle time, one is while empty and running, one is when loaded and running. Okay, so what we found out on that one, that you can see that portion which cover almost 63% or more. Okay, so that portion is idle time. So that is the idle time of truck, and this is the whole truck operation. Okay, this is the last 12, whole 34 truck operation is this. So then this is the last 4 cycle of truck which is operating. So these are the truck name, and these are the current state of truck. Okay, means like after the trip has been completed, so we can figure out the data. So what is the truck idle time? What is the truck when it is loaded and it is running? What is the time when it is empty and running? And what is the wasted time?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Questions?
Was that all in Foresight?
Yeah, we can show
Okay. So from a technical implementation standpoint, was this entirely done within the Pi system, or did you bring in other pieces?
Only Pi system. Yeah, I think so. I can show that you. Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
question.
So this is the current status. So in which you can see that yellow part. Okay, that yellow part is suggesting waste time. That in the left hand side you can see the 12 hours. So what screenshot I shown at that time, the idle time was higher. In current, this is the updating. So in current time, it is the yellow part which is wastage time. Means it is not idle. At that time truck is not running. Means either empty or fully loaded. It is not running at all. It is just in between idle state and not running state. So that is the one part. The second part you can see here. It is like in last 12 hours, every truck, how many trips it has done. Okay, so this is the table. Actually, it is we are unable to zoom it out. So it is very slow. So in last 12 hours, every truck, 34 trucks, how many trip it has done. And these are the current status of these 4 trucks.
Who do you think this data would be? Who do you think this data would be valuable to? I mean, what would they do with this information?
Yeah, so after this, like the right hand side the data, like where we are getting the most of the time. That most of the time is wasting on most of time is spending on time which are not getting fruitful to Barrick Gold.
Right, but who cares about that information?
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So what is nice about it, this is all stored in Pi system, right? So you have all the information about how many cycles a truck has operated in. So, you know, if we were to go back to the previous point that we mentioned, we would like to shift the maintenance part when 30% is plant maintenance and the 70% is not. So in this order, you know how many driven hours a truck was operating. So you know how much load and impact was applied on each truck. So knowing that, you know, hours of operation, therefore you can predict in advance when the truck should be fixed or maintained.
So maintenance is...
Yes, maintenance would be the main component. Yeah, and
Yeah, so obviously maintenance manager, this is a great justification for saying you're able to benchmark a truck's performance versus that of a fleet, because this is basically essentially a custom built truck, right? You get it on site and you construct it there. You can't, it's not like off the line. So that's one justification. But also, I mean, it's a great high business level, plant manager level dashboard that you can report out, because these are very large capital investments. And obviously you want to get all the return that you can out of it. Like the prior group said, we also experienced quite a lot of issues with filtering the data and making sure that what we had was right. So.
Thank you.